Hello everybody, it is Marty McConnell, the off-grid gecko, and today we're doing something a little different. So this is like alternative beekeeping. So I made the decision that I want to start rearing some bumblebees around here. And so I'm going to build some little bumblebee rearing chambers, and then we're going to get started on this mess. So you'll notice I've got a bunch of supplies out in front of me. None of it's too expensive. Got some duct tape, got some little cups here, got a piece of rope. Now this is nylon and it's twisted, so maybe not the best wicking material in the world, but I think this will do. These twists aren't really super tight, so this should be able to wick some stuff up with capillary action. Let's see, we got some Dixie cups. I may have already said that. These Ziploc containers were like $1 a piece. They're 2 for $2. I got some sugar water, and I got a piece of styrofoam over there. That blue XPS extruded polystyrene stuff. Yeah, we got some of that. And I've got some wire screen mesh. Now, I wanted to do this in sort of a permanent fashion and use epoxy glue and all this, but I don't want to wait for the stuff to dry. So, I'll do this in a slightly different way. So basically, how we're going to make these little houses is we're going to turn these upside down. Okay, so they're going to sit in there like this, and it's clear enough I can kind of see in there, see what the bugs are doing. The idea here is you want to catch queens that haven't already started a nest. So that's going to be the tricky part. If you see them, so you want the big bumblebees, not the little ones, and you want to see them without their pollen sacs filled. If you see pollen in their pollen sacs, they're probably already started a nest somewhere, and they're not going to do you any good because they're not going to start another one. I also have some wax from the beehive, and I've got some pollen. It's store-bought pollen. I just mixed it with a little bit of sugar water into a slurry, so we use that for kind of food. So the first thing I want to do is cut some screen that's about this size, and then we can put the bottoms on these. Alrighty, done with that for now. Think about that size. Should be fine. And then we'll just repeat that procedure 4 times. We got 4 pieces of screen that are about the same size. I need to trim them end for end. Let's say about there's probably a good spot. Now, because I'm being lazy, I'm going to go ahead and secure this down with duct tape. Why? Because lazy. Don't really want to invest a lot of money into these incubation chambers. I'm not even sure if this is going to work yet. So here's the thing. You're going to find all sorts of information online about anything you choose to look up these days. But it's hard finding good information. And when it comes to rearing bumblebees, this seems to be a market that not a lot of people are into at the moment. And there seems to be a lot of secrecy surrounding it, or just maybe not a whole lot of interest. This is a commercially viable breed of bee for like greenhouses and people that grow crops all year round that need pollinators, because bumblebees can be bred at any time of year. Like, literally, you pop the little queens in the refrigerator whenever the colony life cycle is over, and they're ready to go as soon as you take them out. You rear them up real quick, and then you've got queens to send on your next beekeeping excursion. I'll just go ahead and split this duct tape down the middle, and then we will secure these onto the lids. So Marty, why are you trying to tape screen to the bottom of your little bee boxes, you might be wondering? Well, I'll tell you, because this is not going to be a very big space for the little bugs to do their little bug thing. Because of that, at some point, if this experiment succeeds, then I'm going to have to move the queens and their colony out of these little Ziploc tubs and into actual wooden hive boxes that I'll manufacture over the next week here. And I need an easy way to transport them. So if their hive is constructed on that little frame down there, it just makes it easy. You peel back the tape and just lift them off and put them wherever you want them to go. The tape is probably actually overkill. But, you know, live and learn. So the next step here is going to be making a little cutout so we can reach in there and work with the bees and do other things like that. So I'm just basically going to cut about half of this bottom panel out here. And if I can get it started with my pocket knife, yeah, look at that. I can just go all the way around with my pocket knife. How about that? So this top hole is going to be a door and ventilation. Okay? So just pop these little pieces of plastic out of here. And maybe about this big. Maybe a little bit bigger. And I think we're in luck. A bumblebee just went flying over my head. For the little door over here, I'm going to take this tape and I'm just going to fold a little tab on one end of it. Just like that. Just fold it over. And then when you put this on here, then you've got your door shut, but you've also got a little pull tab so you can just open it up real quick. And actually, in order to make this hinge, I'm going to have to slice these down a little over here. Don't worry about that later. And 3 and 4. Alright, so we got those done. Ugh. So our little houses are complete. If we want to take a peek inside, just pull this tape back, open that up. We can reach down in there with tweezers or whatever if we need to manipulate the bees, and then close it back up on top. They're good to go. They're also going to need a dark place to hide, but that can be taken care of once they're set up inside. You'll see what I've got planned. Now, as far as the bottoms, we need to go ahead and build these out. So my plan here is to put an available source of pollen down there, which this will probably only really become important once I actually have the bees. So I'm basically going to take some of this. I'll just show you right now, that way I don't have to explain later. Peel it off, and you just kind of, when you mix this with sugar water and you stir it around a bunch, you can just kind of wad it up, and it's almost like clay. And you can make a little ball about the size of the pea and drop it in there, and that's makes a food source for them. But for now, we're going to work out the rest of their little hut. So these are going to be my feeders, so to speak. So I wanted to have something kind of low to the ground the bees could climb up on, or they could hop and maybe fly just a little bit to get in there. Something that's not going to create a mess on the bottom, basically. And I'm just going to secure these guys each down with a piece of tape. Imagine that. And then I'll fold them over like this and make just a little stickum for the bottom of the solo cup. Boom. And we're on there. Done, son. So you can put in a little ladder so we can use some of these little pieces that we have left over. Just kind of bend them like that and just drop that in there. And that'll make like a little ladder for the bees so they can climb up and in their little food bowls. Like a jungle gym for bees. Now the styrofoam is basically, it just gives them like a little mount to start the colony on. Like most things in this project, it does not have to be super duper fancy. It doesn't even have to be a little bit fancy. It's just gotta get it in there and get it working. So a little bit of tape on the bottom, and then just kind of stick them down there in that corner. Alright, the beeswax is going to take some effort, so I'm just going to leave that in the sun for now. And we'll come back to that. Oh, I forgot the rope. What's the rope for, Marty? So glad you asked. So this is going to be our wick for the these little trays here where we're going to put the sugar water. You basically need to have enough of this in there that the little bugs won't fall in there and drown, and this looks like a good length. Take our little nylon rope and just kind of roll it up into a little wad, or a little disc rather, just drop that down in there. And then when we fill these, we don't want to fill up past where the wick material is, because that'll just be problems. This really doesn't want to stick. Now we've got safety water dishes, or safety sugar dishes, for their nectar. Now you can use honey or sugar water. I would use sugar water because honey will ferment fairly quickly, and that would not be good for the little bugs. So for right now, I think these are going to work. So this will be my little quad. You'll notice I have not drilled an entrance hole for them. They're going to stay in here for 3 to 4 weeks. If at that time they haven't produced any babies, then we'll just turn them loose, release them back into the wild. If they have produced babies, then they can be moved to a bigger, more sustainable colony that will have an entrance hole, because once they have a colony established, they'll be kind of cemented in there. They're not going to want to move and fly off. So you can put a little hole inside of the box and just set them out, and then they can grow a full-size colony and they can actually go out and start pollinating. So from new mated queen to exportable colony starter kit, 4 weeks. So you take your orders a month ahead of time. This is the business model anyways, for whoever needs pollination. Take your orders a month ahead of time, take the queens out of the fridge, throw them in these things, and then do your stuff. I obviously don't have a fridge, so this is probably going to be more of a springtime thing for me. But if I do it commercially, then it would behoove me to have like a walk-in freezer of some type where I can keep them at 35, 40 degrees. And then whenever I decide that I need them or I start getting orders, pull them out of hibernation mode, put them into these, and then get the boxes ready for stuff. It's a long, complicated process, but a well worthwhile one if you ask me. This is starting to soften up. It still needs to sit a bit longer. And I'm gonna go see if I can find some bumblebees now. That was easy. Got one. This is a big fat bumblebee. She has no pollen on her legs, so, and she's over an inch long. I mean, I don't know why the bumblebees out here are so big, but they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a little nest prepared and get her inside real quick. As you can see, left this out in the sun for a little while. Now it's like putty. It's just soft and malleable. So I'm gonna break me off a little chunk. Okay. I'm gonna move my duct tape. Alright, we got bee, we got pollen, we got a little cup. I've just got my fountain pen here, my little platinum preppy. I'm going to use that as a mold and make a little cup here. And it just looked like a little honey pot. Okay, just a little cup. We'll secure that down here to the bottom. And then she'll have a place to do that kind of stuff. You can put your pollen in there if you want for her, or you can make another spot. We'll just smush some of this pollen together, which has started to dry out a little bit. But I'm not gonna be too overly concerned with the pollen. I'm just gonna sit it in there for her. And then we're gonna turn her loose in there, and we're gonna go get some more bumblebees. Oh, sugar water, yeah. She's gonna need some food. Down it. There's some nectar. Alright, we're going to put our lid on here and secure it. Go ahead and open this up. And I already see a need for a longer piece of tape here. I'm just going to attach this straight to this for now and put a little pull tab on this side. And that'll work. So we can peel that back. Peel this back, and then we'll open this up and we'll just drop her in there. Come on, go down. There she goes. She's in there. And she's like, let me out, what do I do? Why do you do these things? So she doesn't look too happy at the moment. She'll be happier when she finds that sugar water. And she's a big and let me out. And she's not getting stuck to the duct tape, so that's good. So I'm going to put her somewhere nice and dark and quiet and see if she calms down or not. She doesn't look very happy at the moment, but I guess I wouldn't be either. But she did calm down a lot when she found that ball of pollen. She just like, boom, instant tranquilizer. She's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what's going on? Ooh, pollen. I'm gonna make some more queen cups and then I'm gonna go find some more bees. So for storage of the little beasties, I've basically taken my microgreen stand inside the house and converted it, and I bothered them, into a bumblebee stand. So I've got two of these gardening lids flipped and inverted on each other. Okay, and then underneath are little bumbles. And that one is having a ball with that. I took the tape out of the off the bottom of these other pieces of styrofoam. So she is just fighting that thing like crazy. She's wrestling with it. It's a little weird. But yeah, and this one's stumbling around. I think these are Bombus impatiens. I'm not sure, and that one's definitely sounding very impatient. But they don't like the light, so I basically tried to find the deepest, darkest hole in the whole damn dungeon to house them. And I'm leaving a little gap on either side where air can get in and out and circulate and that kind of thing. Should keep them happy. And maybe in about a month we'll see a bunch of little baby bumbles in there, little worker bees, and then we can transfer them to a box and put them outside. How to do this, and there's a snake or something back over here. I need to see what's going on. It keeps moving around. I'm gonna go investigate this real quick. I think this is the monster that's been down here making all the noise. A little red-headed turtle. Ow, 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 ow. Oh, God. Oh, Gino. Got orange on it. Ooh. Look at that little monster. It almost looks like a snapping turtle, doesn't it? But you don't have spines on your thing. Why you not have spines? He's like, we've been doing this for a long time. But basically, the theory behind this is simply you find one that's on a flower, wait for her to get her little nose buried in there, like say one light's on this flower, and then you just whoop, slip that over the top and put the bottom on right away. Just peel it back nice and gentle. And that, I guess I should do that where you see it, huh? So, whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's say there's one on this flower right here on the end. And all you want to do is just kind of come in from the top and wait for her to bury her little head in the flower. And then just come down straight on top of her. Bring this up on the bottom. And then once she starts flying around in the top there, you can pull it off of the plant without hurting her. Get off of there. Caught another bug. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's sort of an opportunistic kind of thing though. Because you don't know when you're going to hear them, when you're going to see them. So I've been walking around every time I pick the camera up, they all disappear. Alrighty, well this is number 4. I've already got the little pollen patty made up. And go ahead and give her something to drink. And it doesn't seem to matter whether these are tacked down or not, so I might recommend in the future I might start stapling these pieces down, because even if they're taped, the little girls are picking them up and fighting. It's like watching a bee have a pillow fight with itself. It's kind of funny. And these last 2 I caught on the ground, so they're definitely queens. I mean, they were doing their little zigzag maneuver through the grass. When I spotted them, I mean, I heard them. I was just walking around. You hear them, and they're doing their little zigzag maneuver. And I'm pretty sure they're all the same species, and I'm pretty sure that that species is Bombus impatiens, which is the most common breed of bumblebee, or the most common species rather. Unlike honeybees, bumblebees are native to North America, so this is their home, and they know their home very well. probably one of the reasons they're super productive. And I found out if I lean this kind of against my leg, then I don't have all the problems that I was having before with it sliding around on me. Just slide her over the opening, and then work her back this way. Go on down in there. Go on. Okay. She's in there. And they're being kind of grouchy when they go in. And then as soon as I take them inside, they kind of calm down a little bit and start doing their thing. Don't get shiny butts. Make sure they got hair on their butt. If they don't have hair on their butt, then it might be a carpenter bee. It probably is a carpenter bee. But if they got hairy butt, then you know it's a species of Bumble. And once she calms down and figures out that she's got food and sugar water and everything she needs, then she should be content. There's a tick, being barefoot and pregnant for a little while she gets her colony established, and then we'll check on them in a couple weeks and see how they do. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay posted for updates from the Bumbles.